Hi there, and welcome to Still Learning. I'm your host, Fortune Fowle, and if you're new here, welcome to the space that's all about progression, not perfection, the fact that we are becoming people, which means we have not arrived at who we are meant to be yet, but we are just getting to our destination. And so I invite you into this space, and happy Still Learning Monday. Happy Monday, guys. I hope your week is off to a really great start. I hope you're having a good day, depending on when you're listening to this episode. But today I wanted to talk about something that honestly has been on my mind a lot. And guys, this is something that I don't really talk about. I don't really dive into, but maybe it's because I've never really been taught or grew up with the skills to understand and navigate this side of life, of dating. Because yeah, guys, today we're going to be talking about dating and what that exactly entails, especially as I am in this new phase of adulthood and also being a Christian. And how do you even do that? Because I have so many ideas, so many things that I just want to process, and really what prompted this kind of discussion and just where I'm at now is when I was going to move and when I was going to enter this next phase of my life, I was like, okay, Fortune, I'm going to challenge myself to get to know people and be open to dating and open up my romantic life, because growing up, especially growing up in the household that I did, and I feel like anyone who grew up in an immigrant household or honestly an African household can testify to this, that dating is not a thing. Like, you people are not allowed to date until you have fully graduated with your PhD and have establish a life for yourself as either a lawyer, doctor, or now an engineer. I feel like now they're really like pushing that engineer in African households, but truly that is when you can even think about dating someone or having a romantic relationship. I remember when I was a little girl, I remember asking my dad, can I date? Because my mom would tell me all the time, you can't date, you can't have a boyfriend. I was like, okay, I'm gonna ask dad about this, because like, what do you mean I can't date? I can't have a boyfriend? Like, all my friends are having these little crushes, these boyfriends. Like, I want that. I want to experience that. And so I asked my dad because I wanted his take on it. And he said no, like flat out, like no, straight face. And I think that really shocked me as a kid, because I think what it did for me in that moment as a child, I think subconsciously I took on this thing that dating is something that I'm not meant to do. Like, it's not something to prioritize. It's not something that should be my focus or take up my focus at all. Now, all that matters is like education and friendships and family, like never really opening myself up romantically. And of course, yes, I've had crushes. Of course, yes, I've had like talking experiences, getting to know people, but I never really prioritized dating in my life. Like, it's just never been a thing. I think from that moment on, I was like, okay, dating just isn't for me. I also wasn't like the kind of person who thought that, oh, you're gonna meet the love of your life like randomly. Like, I also knew that like I do think dating and being open to having a romantic partner and just your love life in general requires intentionality. Like, it requires a vision, it requires a plan, it requires actionable steps. Despite what we see and what we grew up watching through Disney Channel, like, no, I'm not gonna forget like my glass slipper at a ball, and he's gonna go all throughout the kingdom searching for me, just in case that this shoe fits me, and that's how he's gonna know it's me. Like, honestly, what if someone else had Cinderella's shoe size? And I mean, like, I'm sure she's not the only person in that kingdom with that shoe size. Like, so how did he really know it was her? You know? Like, we know it was her, but like, that really was a gamble. But not to get too sidetracked here, it's just to really say that despite everything, I didn't really know how to date or even factor that into my life. I mean, me and my sister had this conversation. I've even started having those conversations with my friends because I actually am really curious about it and want to hear their take on it as well in terms of their upbringing with their parents, because me and my sister were talking about how we were never taught how to date. Like I just told you, it was not accepted in our household. What do you mean date? What do you mean a man? What do you mean a boyfriend? What are you talking about? All you should be focused on is your books and your studies and where you're going to go. That's it. That's all you should be focusing on. So we were never really taught how to date. And honestly, I also give a lot of grace to my parents in that regard, because dating for them was way, way different. I mean, one of my favorite stories to tell is actually how my parents got together. I think it's so beautiful. And truly, guys, it is what we hear in the Disney fairy tales. Like, it's storybook. Like, it's like, what? How could that be? Like, this cannot be true, but it's true. It's literally how they got together. And they barely knew each other. Like, I'm not kidding. They barely knew each other, saw each other in passing. Like, at best, they were like each other's mutuals. Like, they would be what we consider today mutuals. And one day, my dad just went up to my mom and asked her to marry him. As I just stated, guys, it wasn't like they were friends. It wasn't like, hey, we grew up together. No. Like, they were mutuals at best. And so imagine a man who you barely know coming up to you and being like, will you marry me? And my mother, of course, she in return said to him, as the God-fearing woman that she is, did the devil send you? Like, I rebuke you. And my dad was like, no, like, you're my wife, I'm gonna marry you. And my mother, truly, I don't know all the details of how my father managed to convince her to like consider this proposition, this proposal of any kind. But she said, okay, I'm gonna pray about it and I'm gonna get back to you on it. And she prayed about it. She got back to him about it. 8 months later, they got married. And like 20 plus years, they had a beautiful, loving marriage and were each other's best friends and had 3 kids and freaking moved from Nigeria all the way to America, started a new life. Like, they lived a life together. And that sounds so perfect. And that sounds like, wow, that really sounds like a Disney storybook. Like, and I love their love story. It's truly like so special and one in a million. But I'm also like, hey, that was a very different time than the time that we currently have now. Like, I am also very much aware that when this was happening for my parents, it was in Nigeria. It was in a time and space where, you know, dating apps didn't exist, where arranged marriages were still a thing. Like, it wasn't anything like modern time dating is. It probably was a lot easier for them. And I do give them a lot of grace, because how would they know to even give us advice or help us navigate dating in this day and age when that was how they got together? Like, that was the context of how they got together. And personally for me, if someone just came up to me and asked me to marry them, as much as I am a hopeful romantic, as much as I love a rom-com like The Next Person, I would genuinely be terrified and really consider that you seek help. I mean, we hear that all the time though as Christians. Oh, God said you are my husband. God said you are my wife. And can we please stop saying that? Because that's actually very scary. And maybe God told you that, but he hasn't told me that. So maybe you need to go back. Maybe you need to pray about it. Maybe I need to pray about like all those different things. And so I really do have grace for my parents in that sense of like, they wouldn't even know what kind of direction they should give me and my sisters for dating in this age. I don't even have direction or understanding. It's just, for me, I'm trying to challenge myself to be open to it, right? I'm young, I'm hot, I am thriving, I'm in a new city, I'm smart, I'm beautiful, I'm a woman of God. Like I should fully be putting myself out there to get to know people, because again, like, I do not believe that me sitting in my house is how I'm going to find a partner or find someone I want to spend the rest of my life with. Like, he's not going to come knocking on my door. And if he did, I would be scared. I'd be concerned. I don't even know if I would open the door, to be honest with you. Am I the only one who doesn't open the door for people? If I'm not expecting someone, like, you can't just pop up at my house. Like, if I'm not expecting you, I'm not opening the door. So that's just to say that if the man who was meant for me tried to do that, I probably wouldn't even open the door. Like, I wouldn't even do that. And so, not that it's impossible for me to experience the kind of love story that my parents did. And I think it's a beautiful one, and one that is so incredibly treasured. It's also not one that I'm setting for myself to experience. And I want my own little unique love story. And what does that look like now? And how do I start working towards experiencing that? Because I do believe that men should be the pursuers. I said it. I do think that men should be the pursuers, right? But I do also believe that women should put themselves in position to be pursued and also be open to the pursuit. Please don't stone me here. Like, that's genuinely what I believe. If my Heavenly Father is an active pursuit of me every single day, then you who's meant to lead my household that I'm supposed to surrender to, like, you gotta be an active pursuit of me too. But I also need to put myself in position to be pursued, because that's just what I think is how it works, right? And so that's kind of my mindset. Right, guys, going into this whole arena, because it's an arena. And I feel like dating, at least from what I hear, because actually, what can I say? I can't really attest. I don't really have any experience. But from everything that I hear and the experiences and from friends, like, it's an arena. And I feel like I don't have any of the tools. Like, do I need a shield? Do I need a spear? Like, is a lion about to come out of here? And when I'm having these conversations with my friends, like, they can honestly relate to feeling like we haven't been equipped with the right tools to be able to navigate dating. And I know, like, now we're trying to get better at that, like better at that in the church. I would definitely say, like, having single mixers and having opportunities where you can get to know people. But when the ratio in the church is like predominantly woman, and I also don't necessarily subscribe to the idea that your husband can be in the room or your wife can be in the room, because there's like so many other Christians and believers who don't attend your church. And so, like, I definitely think you can meet anyone, like, across the world, the continent. Like, it's not just your church, it's not just your congregation, though that would be nice because it would make it easier. Like, how do you even navigate dating as a whole, especially as a Christian? Like, I think that's just something I'm trying to figure out right now. And my friends are also trying to figure out alongside me. And how do we do this thing? I know now, like, the dating apps are very common. I was actually talking to my friend about this recently, and she was like, you can go on the dating apps, and maybe I'm the problem. Maybe I'm the problem, because I actually have nothing against dating apps or meeting someone through social media. Like, I also am very much aware that is the most common way to meet someone in this time. And there are a lot of success stories out of it. There's people who get married, have families, all through just like these apps. But just, I think, filtering through all of those eligible matches and figuring out which ones are authentic. And okay, but maybe also that's the whole point of dating. Like, that is the whole point of dating. Is figuring out, getting to know people. You're going to have some hits, you're going to have some misses, you're going to have ones that work out and ones that don't. And yeah, that's the whole point. So again, maybe I am the problem, but also maybe I'm not. Like, is it so wrong of me that I really wish we can go back to the time where your friends would introduce you to someone? Like, I am really someone who thrives on meeting people in person. Like, meet me in person, connect with me in person. I guess that's also the whole point with the dating apps, right? You first meet on the app, and then the whole point is to get out there and talk with people to see if that connection or what you were developing online is still there offline. So maybe I am, again, the problem, and I need to be more open to the apps. So maybe that's a way that I can challenge myself in this area of my life. But I do miss the whole concept and idea of being able to be introduced to someone by your friends. Like, I think there's something to be said about your community and who you surround yourself. I mean, because your friends know you pretty well. You are most of the time talking to your friends and those in your community about like what you want in a partner, who you're interested in. Like you're sharing with them, oh, I have a crush on them. And also your community might have some information that could be valuable to you about the person, right? Maybe they are also in a relationship with the person you're interested in, and you can get a little bit of insight, and they can also help bring that together. Like, I don't know, maybe that's just me, but I really do miss that and want that to kind of be more embedded in our current generation of like people introducing you to people, your friend being like, hey, I think there's this guy who I think you'd really get along with. And I think maybe the reason why I would want that, because there's already this level of trust and there's already this level of like your friend knows who you are. And maybe this might not be necessarily everyone's cup of tea, because some people might be like, nah, my friend does not. They do not know my type. In fact, me and my friend have opposite types. So we would not be able to match each other up. But I know personally for me, like with my friends, like I can trust them to set me up with like the right person. And it's just like, I think it's just something that I personally would really love. Like, hey, can you introduce me to someone? Like, I'm interested. And I think that honestly also falls on the person, on you to like make that known to your community, to the people in your life, because how are they going to know that you're even interested in pursuing this or even dating if you're not making it known to them? Like they might actually have people in mind for you, but because you never vocalized that, they just haven't impressed it. They haven't pushed you towards that. And so I think it's important that you make it known to your community. And I've been doing that little by little, just a bit shyly with my friends. Like, hey, especially with my friends that I'm making recently in the city that I live in now, I'm like, yeah, I'm interested in dating. I want to get to know more people. And though that can be really intimidating and like it requires a level of vulnerability, it's just the truth. And it's something that I've been trying to put myself out there more and doing, because dating requires you putting yourself out there. Like it requires you being vulnerable and being a little bit humble in that sense, and also being open-minded, because people can surprise you. Generally let people surprise you and don't try to rush into it. Dating requires patience. I think I was someone like in high school, I would literally meet someone and then based off of just meeting them, I think I was just very quick to write someone off or be like, okay, there's interest here. I don't think I fully was patient with just getting to know someone, being in the process of it, because dating is a process, and being open to it working out or not working out. You don't necessarily reach the goal that you wanted with that person, which is indefinitely a relationship and then eventually marriage. But maybe you get like a really cool friend, or maybe you just get to meet and get to know another really cool human being that you can learn things from, and you can just like grow more as yourself and know more about what you like, what you don't like. Because dating is an opportunity to also learn more about yourself just as much as you're learning more about other people, like learning what you want to receive in a relationship, learning what you give in relationship, like all these different levels of self-discovery. I know that personally for me, when I really start dating guys, when I really start honing in on this, I know that what's really going to be a challenge for me is my hyper independence. I am an extremely hyper independent person. And I know that that is definitely going to be a challenge for me, and overcoming that and giving space for me to be a bit more surrendered and invite someone else into my life in that sense. But that's good because it's like making you kind of like a better partner. It's making you also like being able to learn how to depend a little bit more on the people in your life and lean on them for support, and allowing people to show up for you in that way that they can, like allowing that person to be a partner towards you. That's a way that you also get to show up and be a good partner towards them. And so thinking about that makes it so exciting, but doing that is a whole nother game. And I was just like, how do I prioritize dating? Because I never had to prioritize that. In theory, all this sounds great. This sounds amazing. But what are the practical tools? Like, how do I do this? I definitely think, like I just stated, telling your community, telling the people around you, hey, I'm interested in dating. I'm interested in getting to know people. If you have anyone in mind, bring me up to them. Like, I literally would say to my friends, I'd be like, hey, let me send you a picture of myself that you can send to them. Because if you meet anyone out and about in these streets, right? If you meet anyone in a coffee shop, at the event, and you're like, I feel like I think you would really get along with my friend Fortune. here's my picture, here's my Instagram, send that their way. Okay, like honestly, maybe I should start developing calling cards. But again, it very speaks to my old school mind and very much speaks to my obsession with Bridgerton and just the Victorian era as a whole. But bring back calling cards. And if you don't know what a calling card was, it was essentially when men were interested in pursuing a woman. Before he can even meet the woman, he would have to present a calling card to the parents, usually the father, because he was the head of the house. And on that calling card will basically state like the man's credentials, like a resume, right? Essentially stating why he's an eligible bachelor and why he is worthy of pursuing their daughter. For example, things like their occupation, what family they came from, because if you came from a good family, that was like bonus points for you. What was their educational background? All those things would be on that calling card. And so if the parents really liked the calling card, then they would be able to go ahead and meet the daughter. And so I know that seems very extreme, but like maybe like bring back calling cards, but for this day and age where instead like not our whole resume, occupation, what family we come from. Okay, like maybe that might be a little too much or not as applicable to now, but having things like your phone number, or if you don't want to give out your phone number, which I completely understand, I'm not really a huge like give your phone number off the bat. Honestly, I am, but with women. So maybe I'm biased. Like if a girl's like, can I get your phone number? I'm like, yes, girl, of course. Like here it is. I can freely. With a man, I'm like, here's my social media. It's like, no, whatever you're comfortable with. Like even if you don't want to put your phone number, if you don't want to put your social media, if you want to put your email, put your email. Like I'm not mad at that. Let's like be pen pals. Like put your email, whatever you want. And maybe put like a short little elevator pitch. You know, people do elevator pitches when you're doing a job interview about your life, really short and sweet. Like put a little short and sweet about what you like. What are your interests? I guess essentially that is also dating apps. But this one I feel, okay, it's a little bit different because it's in person and it's that exchange. And I don't know, there's just something about having like a physical card on you that just feels a little bit more personable. And the fact that you give this to a person, they receive this, like I feel like it just displays an even extra level of intentionality and interest that you have in a person. So like calling cards, maybe I should just start developing that. Like maybe I should just like make my own calling cards and give them to my friends and be like, hey, if you are ever out and about, if you know someone, pass this along. Let them know I'm here. I'm available. But something like that. What are other practical steps, guys? Maybe I need to get on a dating app. I make no promises, guys. I really don't. Like, what's a good one? Because, guys, come on. Am I getting on Tinder? Because we know, okay, and we don't want to be judgmental around here at Still Learning. Like, we don't want to assume things. But Tinder does have some stereotypes. I'm just saying. I don't think I need to fully say it, but I think we know what I'm getting at here with Tinder. You know, it's just, I don't think it's necessarily would be the right direction for me to go down. But other than Tinder, I know there's Hinge and there's Bumble. And I think those have more notable reputations of successful relationships and marriages coming out of them. Not that it can't come out of Tinder too, but you know, here's my thing with the dating apps, guys. And this is research. Now I'm giving you research, guys. I'm not just giving what I'm thinking. Research does say that there's a bit bias within these dating apps when it comes to people of color. And also if you don't have more premium memberships or like accounts with these dating apps might not actually send matches to you that you're actual compatible with because they want to keep you on the app longer. So I think I'm a little bit fair in having some skepticism, but definitely shouldn't be writing off the dating apps. I definitely should try to open myself up to that and try to do that. Like try to give a 30, okay, maybe 30 days is too long. Actually, no, a 30-day trial. I make no promises, guys. Again, this is what I'm saying when it comes to the dating apps. If I fully go through with this, I will get back to you on it. I'll come back to you guys when I finally go on a date and I talk to you guys what it's about. Yeah, I think that would be fun. Like, oh, I'm excited. I'm excited and nothing has happened, guys. There is no date in the calendars in the books. None of that has happened. We're hoping for it to happen soon, and then I can have something to bring to you guys regarding this. Other than, okay, opening yourself to dating apps, potentially putting calling cards in the books, like that's an idea. And hey, like if you like that, I definitely think we should bring back calling cards. And so that is another thing that we can do, letting your community and people around you know that you're interested and letting them like introduce you to people, right? Putting yourself out there. Oh, putting yourself in position to be pursued. As I stated, what I believe, this is what I believe. Don't hang me. Men should be the pursuers, but women, you should put yourself in position to be pursued. So trust up, be cute, and go to places that you have interest in. Like, don't go somewhere that you're not interested in actually being there just because you want to meet a man. Not that that's necessarily a bad thing, but I think it does help if you love to read books. Go to a bookstore. And if you love to go to cafe houses, if you like to try new food, like if you like to go to like different tournaments and sporting games and matches, like, and that is generating your interest, it actually helps you to meet someone in a place where you are interested in or someone who shares a similar hobby with you, because it creates opportunities for a conversation. It allows us to be a lot more easier because you guys are kind of standing on this place of mutual ground. And so it makes it easier for conversations to flow. And even with that being said, you get to know this little bit of information about this person. Like, oh, they like the same team that I do. Oh, they also like going to these music festivals like I do. It creates this mutual interest already off the bat, instead of like having to figure that out if you meet an environment that's not in a place where you guys have a mutual interest. So I think that's also really beneficial in terms of putting yourself out there in position to be pursued. Look nice, look good, and just be yourself, be cute, do your thing. And like someone will see that. I really do think that confidence is attractive. And honestly, when someone's just in their element, like when you're in a place where you know you're able to be yourself, where you are able to really express yourself, you just exude that you're confident and it's attractive, and it will attract people to you. Not all the people you necessarily want or necessarily someone that you would have wanted to be attracted to you. But I think that also where it comes to when you're the pursuee, not just putting yourself in position to be pursued, but also just being open to the pursuit. Let people surprise you, get to know someone. Like, I'm not saying that if you're genuinely like not attracted to this person, if you know that this isn't going to go anywhere, then I'm not saying you should like string someone along and just do it for the sake of doing it, because that's how we get cases where people are like, oh yeah, like we've been together for 5 years, but like, you know, when I first met her, I never was interested in her. I didn't find her attractive. Excuse me? God, please do not let that be our testimony, because it's easy to fall into that. It really is. I'm not saying feelings and perceptions and what you deem as attractive can't be transformed over time. I know that for me, like that I can grow physically attracted to someone. Like I know that for myself, but that's not everyone's story. And that doesn't have to be your story. Like if you're someone where like attraction is important to you, stand on it, stand on business. You know what I mean? Like I guess like don't be gaslight into thinking that makes you like self-centered, because I do think physical attraction is a component that is important when you're dating. And we don't need to have stories where you find out that your partner years later was never attracted to you or says you were not their type. What? Don't do that. And so again, that is important. But also like if you're like, hey, maybe like they're not usually what I would go for, but they are surprising me in unexpected ways, and I'm really liking the conversation I'm having with them, and they're making me laugh, and I actually kind of want to spend more time with them. Like I actually want this conversation to go on a bit longer, though it's not what I expected. It's pleasantly something I didn't expect. Then I say proceed and see where it goes, because in that moment, you're also learning more about yourself and what maybe you didn't know you might actually like and appreciate in having in a person and in a partner. You're like, oh, hey, I didn't realize I value these characteristics and qualities as much as I did until I encountered someone who held these characteristics and qualities. It makes it really fun. And that way, dating's meant to be fun, my friend told me. She was like, dating's meant to be fun. It's meant to be exciting. Go on dates, get to know people. And so that's what I'm going to try to do, guys. Have we done that yet? No. What? No, we have not gotten to that point, but we are getting there slowly, day by day. We are slowly doing that. And I think in me just saying that and reaffirming that and actually trying to be like, okay, this is going to be something that we prioritize this time around, because I haven't been doing it all my life. Really has just been school and my career and friendships and family. Like the idea of like a romantic partner, like I love the idea of it, but have I ever actually done the work to bring that idea into fulfillment? Has it ever gotten past an idea to a plan in my life, to one of intentionality? And now I'm really wanting to be intentional about my dating life, really wanting to be intentional about the time that I'm giving to this and who I'm spending time with, because I don't just want to waste my time. I also don't want to waste another person's time, because just as my heart is valuable and important, so is their own. And we can get all into guarding your heart and what that looks like. And I think we might just have to say that for another conversation, because there is a lot to unpack there. Because when I tell you guys I have surrendered my heart and my dating life to God, because in my hands, it truly has been unsuccessful. It's really something that I'm constantly surrendering to Him and just being, okay, God, show me and guide me, give me the wisdom, give me the discernment, and just help me to navigate this thing we call dating. And if you're in my boat, I really hope that you could relate. I definitely don't think I'm the only one where this is something you're thinking about. This is something you're considering. I think it just really is a common experience in immigrant African households where dating and having the tools to date, we're not necessarily equipped with that. And I think that's where we get a lot of fumbles, or where sometimes it's actually really hard for us to even be open to that and being able to navigate bumps in our dating lives. It's just different. We can't go about it the same way we may have gone about our careers, about our friendships, about other things that we've done in life. Like, it really is its own unique experience, and there are different tools and assets that you need in order to be successful in this arena in a way that you are able to thrive and you are happy and you're full of joy, and it isn't so much pressure too. Like, yes, you have an end goal, but you're also enjoying the process of it all and how it makes you better. Because I do think that a partner and having a partner, you're meant to make each other better. You're meant to expose the parts of yourself that may make you uncomfortable, expose parts of yourself that you're like, oh shoot, I didn't realize that I had trust issues. I didn't realize that I had hyper independence issues. Me. Just different things about yourself that you didn't have to be challenged until you had to work with a partner in that sense, right? Your friends challenge you, but I definitely think a romantic partner, a spouse, challenge you in a different way that you never thought you could have been challenged before. And so I do think it's a beautiful thing and something that I actively now want to pursue and be open to in my life. And I do know that it's going to be a fun, but also messy, but also growing journey and process. And I am excited to be able to come before you guys and talk about my experiences and how I'm doing this thing called dating and what my dates are like and who I'm getting to know. Hopefully I can bring more knowledge, more wisdom to the table, and also being able to just share in my mistakes so maybe other people don't make my mistakes. I know that my parents may have necessarily not been able to give me the tools to equip me with how to date in this day and age. And again, it looks completely different from when they got together. But I think I want to be willing and open to making mistakes and learning from them so that one day I can possibly share them with my children and they can come with me and talk to me about these things, and or even with the other people in my life, and being able to support one another in that way. And so I really hope that you guys enjoyed today's conversation. I hope that we are all still learning how to figure out this thing that is dating, that is love, that is our love lives and romantic life, especially this day and age. It's definitely going to be more conversation surrounding this, especially I feel like we didn't get to really dive into the complexities of navigating dating as a Christian, because that is a whole, like, I feel like it just adds a whole nother layer to how do we do this thing? How do I honor God in my dating? And so that is definitely something that I would love to also bring to the table with you guys. But for today, I hope that you guys really enjoyed this conversation, and I hope that it was insightful and honestly just an opportunity to figure out in what ways you can challenge yourself in dating as well, and how you can open yourself up to this area of your life and how you can start prioritizing it if that is something that you want to do. And so with that being said, I'll see you guys next week for another episode of Still Learning. Bye.